Hey YouTube, hope you well. So this morning I did the rounds. I separated the geese and the horse from the chickens by this fence here. And what I'm planning to do is put the dog in with the chickens to keep them safe. The geese and the waterfowl will be in by themselves. And the sheep will also be in by themselves. Where are they? They're all the way over there. You can see them. So I picked up 3 lambs 2 or 3 weeks ago. They're going really well. They're sort of just eating the weeds, and I got them a mineral block. The horse is just in here at the moment to be fed up because he was a little light on, a little bit thin from the winter. So I just kept him away from the other bigger boys to feed him up a little bit. He's looking okay, so we'll put him back in today. I'm currently at about 25 waterfowl. We just had 5 new hatchlings. She was sitting on 6. She hatched 4, and I put the other 2 eggs under one of my hens, and 1 hatched out, and the other one didn't ever hatch, so I got rid of that. So there's 5 new little fluffy ones. Oh my god, the mozzies are so bad. The new hatchlings are Mdean, just pure Mdean. All of these guys are crossed between the Sebastable and the Mdean, so the normal looking ones and then the fluffy ones. And then I have 5 ducks, and I'm going to get a drake for them tonight, hopefully. 5 ducks. We just had 10 more chickens hatch, so you might be able to see them in the cage there. They're just in with their mum at the moment because they're quite small. I didn't want any sort of birds to get them. And then we have the 10, actually there's 9 little tiny little baby ones, which are about 3 months old. So the chicks that you can see there, the really small chicks, and the geese, sorry about Reddy's butt. The geese you can see there, they're actually the same age, but the geese are about half the size of their parents, and the chicks are about less than quarter of the size of their parents. So the geese are definitely growing at a faster rate, which is good because they're going to be a good meat bird, and I'll probably look to get a few more breeding pairs of them to stock up the freezer because they grow so much faster than the chickens, and therefore I don't have to feed them as much. What else? You can see all the little babies out there in a little huddle. And if I can zoom in. The pigs are going really well. I've had them for maybe a month now. We can go say hi. Hey Ray. Hey. Hi. I'm eventually probably going to I want to make a system on this gate here that is maybe like a dog door or like a plank that Ray can jump, so that he can actually jump between the paddocks and protect both the flocks of chickens and the flock of geese, and just protect everybody. So I'm at about 35 chickens. I think, did I say that already? 35 chickens. But I don't know if they're roosters or hens yet. This is the current pig paddock. It's about 4 metres by 8 metres roughly. And they're doing a really good job at turning that into a veggie garden and keeping in this hot tape. Currently I just have a bathtub for their water. But Stan actually likes, Stan the boar likes to get in there and swim in there. So I've today ordered what is called a pig nipple, which you put on a 44-gallon drum, and they can actually learn how to drink from it. It's sort of like a straw that has a little thing in the middle that they sort of push with their tongue, and they can drink from like a straw. So that was quite cheap. I just got it from a feed shop in town. Goals. This pig pen right here will be turned into a veggie garden. I'm not yet sure how to keep the chickens that occupy this paddock now. Not sure how I'll keep them out, but I've got a bit of time to think about it. There you go, perfect. You can see them and see me. What else? So we're doing a goose for Christmas. We're just going to pick the biggest, hopefully son. Come here. We'll pick one of those for Christmas. Sit down. Sit down. Thank you. We'll do one of those for Christmas. That's exciting because we'll be able to trial sort of plucking and things like that, which I've only ever broken down ducks and chickens. I've never actually done woe to go, the slaughter and the pluck and the gut. So that'll be interesting to time and see how long it takes, because we're going to be doing obviously a lot more than that if we want to be stocking the fridge with them. But like I said, I'm happy with the way they're growing. They grow really fast, a lot faster than the hens. So we might look to maybe skin the geese, if you like, because they are such a they have a lot of fat on them. We might look to actually just be skinning them to be a bit healthier, if we're going to be eating those like we would be eating chicken, if that makes sense. But I'm happy to also just grow the chicks. Maybe later on down the track, we'll look into an actual specific meat bird. But from what I've seen, I don't really want to do a chicken tractor or something where I've sort of got to have more work for myself. This is the whole idea of these paddocks, that I can keep the poultry in. So I'll just see how long they take to sort of get to the point where we can put them in the freezer as well. And it will only be the roosters that we put in the freezer. The hens will obviously be breeding stock, and I also have another rooster coming, which is the same breed, the Plymouth Rock, Barbara Plymouth Rock. So yeah, but there's probably 20 chicks now, 19 chicks, which we'll then have to sort through roosters from hens. And there's also another mum sitting on maybe 15 more, so we'll see how she goes. Yeah, so goals are to move the pigs under the tree line, so I can rotate them. This electrified mesh is working really well. I'm really happy with that, so I'll be setting up 2 paddocks and rotating them probably every week, maybe less, depending on how much they turn over the ground. I don't want them to disturb the ground too much, because if you disturb the ground too much, you leave room for weeds. But if you don't disturb it enough, you're not benefiting it. You're not manuring the ground. You're not trimming the undergrowth enough. So that's something I'll just keep an eye on and rotate them as they need. The 44-gallon drum with the watering system will save me on a lot of water, because currently Stan just gets in the bath and the water just goes all over the ground, and I have to fill it up every 1 to 2 days, maybe 2 to 3, depending on how hot it is. Sometimes he goes in twice a day. And I set up a little system with my poultry water where, because all the waterfowl want to get in the water, I was changing it 3 times a day, because the ducks get in, they make mud out of the water and nothing else can drink it. So all I did, I was thinking, oh God, what am I going to do? I'm going to have to like rig up some sort of system with a pipe and chicken mesh over the top so they can only get their heads in, blah, blah, blah. Couldn't be bothered. Found some cages that I already had, they're like milk crates or something. And they've just got like a square big enough for their head, so they can all put their heads in all the way around and drink the water, but they can't actually get into the water. So that's been awesome. The chickens, they just have normal water because they don't tend to foul it. The sheep, I got that orange mesh. I don't know if I posted that, but I got that orange mesh from Thunderbird and it was ridiculous. There's no point having it. It was $350, massive investment. I ended up sending it back because the posts were too flexible and the mesh was too heavy because it's like a chicken size mesh. It was just too heavy and was pulling in and sagging, which meant that because it's only got one square around the bottom of non-electrified mesh, it was drawing all the power out of it. So when I'm going to be rotating the sheep every 3 days or so, I don't want to be having, like, the guy in the shop was like, oh, why don't you just put stays on? So like posts that you tie the posts on the corners to, they're called stays. And I thought, I'm going to have to ram pickets in every time I want to move this mesh. It's going to take like an hour to move mesh every 3 days. That would just be way too long. And if I'm spending $350, I don't want to be ramming posts in, etc. So anyway, I sent that back. He was fine. The rep was fine. He was really great about it. He said that he had the same issue, but that they sell a lot of them. So other people must be having a bit more success somehow. So I'm not putting Thunderbird down because obviously it does work for some people, but it didn't work for me and it's not going to work for the system that I want. So I've seen on other YouTube homesteading clips that you can purchase one from Premier One, which I've never heard of it in Australia, and I'm pretty sure I looked online. I can't actually get it here, definitely not with COVID. So my next option is Gallagher. Gallagher do like a ring lock, so like a big square. They don't actually do the chicken mesh, which is frustrating, but that's all they have. So I'll probably have to look to do that, and the sheep will then go into the bigger paddock, my bigger paddock, to rotate that. And the goal is basically to create topsoil through the animals' manure and to minimize worming. So if you can imagine, if you graze a whole paddock and they're constantly manuring and walking around, you're going to get the same result eventually, but it's they're eating over the top of their own feces, which that's where the worms are. You don't want to be eating the grass that is coming through the poo, because that's where the worms will be living. So at the moment it's about $20 a wormer. Every 3 months I do my horses. Every change of the season I do them. That's just when they start to look a bit raggedy and look like they need worming. Same with the dog. I don't worm the chickens. I haven't really needed to worm them so much. I don't worm the geese. I wormed the sheep and the pigs when they first got here, but I'm hoping not to have to worm them once the systems are in place that will reduce the worming of them. Pretty keen to get you guys through the veggie garden. I haven't really done that yet. There's not a lot going on there. I've just pulled up all the onions and all the potatoes. I've got a pretty good crop. Other than that, there's just beans, kale, lettuce, tomatoes, carrots. It's not really too exciting in there, but that's something I'm keen to show you guys through. I think that's it. I was just going to mention with the vegetable scraps that I'm getting in the afternoons for the pigs that I talked about. The pigs they've been pretty picky. They're only sort of eating the really yummy things, and that's like I'm leaving it there for them all night, all day, and they just haven't been eating it. So they really like the fruit and the sweeter vegetables. They like the lettuce, things that I would probably want to eat out of the bunch. The bread, they love the bread, but they leave all the cabbage leaves, they leave the corn cobs, they leave the eggshells and things like that. So I rake it all up, I pick it all up, I give it to then the waterfowl and the chickens that pick through it, and they eat the rest of it, and then I pick up what's left of that and put it in my compost that I showed you guys with the pallets. That system's working really well. It's benefiting 3 parties. It's benefiting the pigs first, the poultry, and then the compost. I'm really happy with the way that system's going. It is a little bit labour intensive, but if you leave it there and they start to rot, you get that really fermented, sweet smelling vegetable scrap, which I don't like. I don't want it to smell here, and I don't want the flies to be any worse than what they are. So they are, that system's working pretty good. The reason why I separated the chickens and the geese, I don't know if I mentioned, I'll just say it again anyway, was because the geese tend to just, don't want to put my hand in chicken poo, the geese tend to just scoop up the food in their beaks and just guzzle it down. The chickens, if you own chickens, you'll know they just sort of pick one bit at a time. They're fast, but they only pick one bit at a time. They're so slow. So I've separated them out. I'm not going to feed the geese as much as the chickens because the chickens need it to lay. The geese are just being guts. You right? The chickens need it to lay. That's my main thing. If I don't feed them enough, they won't provide me with eggs. So I hope it works. I hope that the foxes stay away. I'm pretty sure they will because they've never gone, the geese, and the dog is right next door, and I'm going to, as soon as I can, get that system in place at the gate where the dog can walk through to each paddock. I'm more worried about the lambs. They're at 3 months old. I'm more worried about the lambs than the geese. I might take you for a walk with me to put the horse away and see these. They're so cute. These little baby geese, they're so fluffy. Oh, look at him. You're a good boy. That's a good guardian dog right there. You're very brave, mate. You're very brave, aren't you, mate? Standing up to the goose. They are just the cutest little things. Hey! Hey! Baby! No, it's okay. The one with the white face. Sit down, Ray. The one with the white face is Shauna sheep. The one with the black leg there is Barbara, and the one with the spot is Willis. I think I may have some subscribers. Why can't I say that word? Subscribers in America now, which is pretty exciting that we can all be so connected. That's probably a little bit interesting if you've not really had many kangaroos. They tend to be everywhere. Maybe I'll show you. I think that's it, guys. Thanks for watching, and yeah, I'm gonna do a vlog on budgeting very soon. So keep an eye out for that. Thanks, guys. See ya.